Hey friends, it's Kristen. Welcome back to my rose-colored corner of the internet. Today I'm going to be talking to you about some of my favorite current books. I get asked a lot about this on Instagram because I've been posting a lot more about the books that I've been reading lately because I'm always asking for book recommendations and hearing what you guys think of the books that I'm reading. And I frequently get asked to talk about my favorite books or to give some book recommendations. And it's so difficult to me because I love to read and I have so many favorites. And it's just hard. It's hard to pick favorites because there's so many different books that I've read recently and that I love for different reasons. It's like near impossible for me to narrow it down. But I finally sat down and wrote out a list of my current favorite books, and it's almost more of like favorite authors because the certain authors that I'm going to talk about, I love kind of like all the books that I've read from them, not just one book in particular. And I've also kept a list of all the books that I've read in 2018. It's been one of my big personal goals for the year to read at least 2 books every month, and I've done that and many more, so you can also check out that. And then I also have a blog post up with my current favorite books that I'm actually using as the notes for this video, so I will have that linked in the description also. If I had to pick one favorite book, just one, it would be Grace Not Perfection by Emily Ley. And also, it is the prettiest book I've ever seen, and so my aesthetic. And I actually gave away a copy of this book as my first giveaway, like celebrating 1 year of my blog. So that was super exciting, but also like it's an incredible book. Emily Ley is one of my favorite people, and she tells a lot of her personal story and kind of her personal struggles and how she grew her brand because she was a stay-at-home mom for a while, and she now started her own company making simplified planners, and she has a whole brand and business, and she's just so inspirational to me and I absolutely love it. So this kind of tells her story and goes through her struggles and of just everyday life and finding grace in the little things and seeking grace instead of perfection, which is something that I need in my life always. So kind of just that mantra and her ideas just really align with all parts of me. So I just really love this book. And then my mom actually like knew of Emily Ley because I talked about it so much, and she actually got the chance to meet Emily Ley at a women in business conference in Tampa and met her and told her about how much I love her and got this signed copy from me, which is just so special. And I usually have this cute little book displayed on my bookshelf, which I'm sure you've seen pictures of on my Instagram, but I really love this one. I've already read it a couple times, which I don't normally do. And then Emily Ley also released her second book called Simplified Life, and this one has pineapples on it. Look how cute. And this is also just kind of like a general tips for life, and I really recommend these just for women in all types of life. And this one kind of has some like room to answer some questions and fill out some things about how you want your life and your space and the places that you live to feel. So this one is kind of more about creating and simplifying your life, which is something that she really believes in and really preaches in both of her books. But they are both excellent. Highly recommend. I keep these close by, and I know I will continue to read them as I grow and grow up. So I think they're just 2 staples. I'm gonna stop rambling like I had to do in the blog post so I can talk about some other books. The next favorite that comes to mind in thinking about my all-time favorite books is just the whole Harry Potter series. Those are a family favorite in my family. We all love them, all read them. I think my sister and I both read them by the time we were in 4th or 5th grade, read the whole series through. We've been bookworms since we were little. I just love them all. The books are incredible. I'm total team book over movie, book before movie, but I also think the Harry Potter movie series are some of the best movies from books that I've ever seen. So we own all the movies, love all the movies, love all the books. We have all of them at home, so I don't have them here to show you, but I absolutely love them, and I've kind of like gone back to them and reread them and rewatched the movies as I've grown up. I just think they're so special, and she is such a great author. So definitely recommend, had to mention those. The next author and a book that came to mind in thinking about my favorites besides those 2 that I mentioned so far is Jodi Picoult. And this one specifically is 19 Minutes, and I talked about this in the blog post a little bit, which is also what I'm using for notes for this video. She has been one of my favorite authors recently, and when I came home for summer, my mom kind of handed me a giant stack, probably like this high, of books that she had read that she thought I would like, and like half of them were Jodi Picoult, and it's become one of my personal goals to read all of Jodi Picoult's books, and I think I've only gotten like halfway through them so far, so that's kind of exciting and like something I look forward to as a lame little book nerd. But this one is called 19 Minutes, and I did kind of talk about it in the blog post. This one just sticks out to me not because it's my favorite, and it is like a very tragic story. It tells the story of a school shooting, and it kind of goes into the whole backstory of the characters involved and kind of everything leading up to it, and then kind of what happened to the characters and their families afterwards. So it is very graphic and very gruesome and a lot darker than books I would normally enjoy. But in thinking about all the books that I've read recently, this one really stuck out to me because it was just something very different, and especially in today's day and age, it's very unfortunate that that is a topic that is very prevalent, but I think it is very interesting to kind of hear a story from this perspective. And this one I could not put down. Read it in like one day. My best friend actually bought it and read it as well while I was reading it because I was talking about it so much. So I really recommend Jodi Picoult, and I'm more including this one just to talk about Jodi Picoult in general because I love all her books and I think she has a very interesting perspective and I love the way she writes. But this one, if that's something you're interested in, especially with all the news going on recently, I think this one is worth the read. The next one that came to mind is The Magnolia Story by Chip and Joanna Gaines. And this summer my mom and I actually took a trip to Waco, Texas to visit Magnolia Market and the silos and the bakery and everything, and I did a blog post and a video about that as well, posted about it on my Instagram. It was amazing, but a couple of months prior to actually going this summer, I read their book that had also been recommended to me through Instagram, and it was just very inspiring, very similar to kind of Emily Lay, and just the fact that these are people that are doing something that's kind of like in a similar field of something I aspire to be. They're kind of like self-made entrepreneurs with very successful businesses with a Christian base, and kind of just, they started small and have built it up to something amazing, and I think they both just have really good values and morals behind their brands, which I really admire. But it's the story just behind Chip and Joanna and kind of how they met, how Joanna started her business, and how it's just grown and blossomed into what it is now. And I do believe it was published a couple years ago, so it's not totally up to date, but I think it's kind of cool to see where they were when they wrote it and then to see how much they've grown since then. So I really love that one too, especially if you're another blogger, writer, or if you just follow them on TV. I think it's really sweet and special to hear it kind of from their perspective. The last book I'm going to mention is one called 180 Seconds by Jessica Park, and this was another one that my mom recommended to me. I actually read it on Kindle because she already had the Kindle version. It was another one that just kind of stuck out in my mind as something different and intriguing than a lot of the other books that I've read, and it's just a really sweet story. It's kind of like partly cheesy, romantic, like teenage love story, but it does have some kind of like different twists and turns that kind of stick out and make it more special and more interesting than just other normal like teenage romantic movies. And I'm also including it because it's the type of book that really just gives you that nice fresh shift of perspective to love on the people that you have and to appreciate what you have and just to be grateful for life and all the ups and downs and gifts and everything. So I really love that one as well, and it was another one that I just loved and really enjoyed reading. Thank you so much for watching and for hanging out with me. I really do appreciate it. Again, I love talking about books, so leave me a comment below or tell me something that you've read recently. I'd love to hear it, and until I see you again, I hope you have a great day.